There is a party in Africa's basement, of crowds dancing around burning tires and singing songs in unison, about laws that cut corners with minimum wages and enterprises that serve profit only to the most vicious. We are in a game of peekaboo with criminal cases, and our children disappear with no leading traces. We are a stunned congregation who has too much faith in the teachings of the news anchor, but we only need to look away from the screens to see the mistake, to realize that the propaganda is mendacious, to admit that the Rainbow Nation is still systematically racist, to understand that the looting is a ploy in the Hunger Game races. We've been meaning to have these conversations on how the location is still our placement, how education is truly that basic, how politics are part of entertainment, how there's a serial address of the nation with extra information in paraphrases. We've been meaning to have these conversations on how each weekend we are intoxicated, how we try to drown the dissatisfaction since the aliens came from the ocean and taught us to look up for the spaceships while they seized our worldly possessions. Now we seek asylum in the doctrines. Look in my eyes and tell me if I'm lying. All the revolutions have been televised. The struggle of the people was romanticized. But we are too drunk to put up a fight. And we are too blind to follow the light. We scavenge the breadcrumbs while they wine and dine and tell us freedom is coming, so you just sit tight. When you check the horizon, it's still out of sight. Hello. All right, that was Party, and Ntogo is here. We're gonna do a poem called Time. Time, time, time. I have learned that the future is slowly creeping up on us through intervals of instances while we are distracted by the belief that it is further than the very next moment. We cast ourselves so far into tomorrow that we speed past today without living it. We treat the present moment like a portal into our daydreams, and we are always rushing somewhere, looking for a quick fix, rushing through every pulse of our heartbeats that we don't even catch the rhythm to which our hearts beat. We are constantly seeking for a way out, reaching towards a different realm in which we won't have to be who we are right now. We chant a procrastination mantra of someday and one day. We obsess over a time that is coming where we will somehow be better, be wiser, be stronger. We get so drunk on a fantasy that we miss our reality. Our elders often share with us that youth is such a delicate thing, that one is born into infancy, then in a blink of an eye it turns into adulthood. We then acquire the desire to turn back the needles of time. It is ironic to know that age passes with bits and pieces of us. And if we aren't paying enough attention, we won't know when we went missing and needed finding. And we will forfeit more when we try to make up for lost time. There is no escaping the infinite truth in the ongoing gong of each second that passes. You can't grab the grain of sand as it slips through the waste of the hourglass. No man has ever mastered the science of capturing time. The only space that you and I can ever hold is this present eon. Anything beyond it is an imaginary phantom, whether it is the imminent or the bygone. A man in a song once sang, time waits for no man. This poem here chimes into that gospel. That time is man's invention, an absurd effort to measure eternity, to try and see just how much capacity the universe occupies. A foolish attempt to figure out how old God must be. Oh, we are really that bold. We have placed ourselves in the authority over all things, compelling timelessness into divisions of our own understanding, thinking that we can bargain with the clock of fate, thinking we can count the portions that make up abundance. We forget that the future is coming regardless of our disposition. For it has the habit of disguising itself as a far-off dream that is out of reach, while it delicately unfolds right under our noses, disregarded. And when it has long become the past, we wonder when it passed us by. For we placed our concern so far from where it was required that we missed the show. And what follows is the constant need to revise our history. We chant a reminiscent mantra of should-haves and should-have-nots. We obsess over a time that is gone where we were somehow better, somehow wiser, somehow stronger. We get so drunk on a memory that we miss our reality. Okay. All right. The next poem is called, what is it called? Miranda, because I'm going to Mirandize you. If you don't know what that means, bruh, you need to know your law. Okay. Taking chances. You have the right to remain silent while things come tumbling down to shambles and the sight for sore eyes pokes out to your iris, leaving a hollow opening under your eyelids where any bandit can sneak in and snatch your soul. So, swallow your words. Digest your protests. In a land where the serpent's tongue flicks behind the truth, where venom pours out like water from your hydrants, and the air is diseased with exhaustion and fumes, every corner is a dumping site. Around every corner is a place of worship. The place of worship is not far from the cemetery. The cemetery is not far from the liquor store. You dash your praises and sorrows with spirits. You mark your pain with hilarious memes. You sweep your senses into the tides of laughter. You swear to die within the grip of your humor. You are so funny. You forget to face your dilemmas. You cannot remain still long enough to learn your discernment. Your attention span spikes up and down with the trends, and you express blasphemy so fluently that you cannot recognize the language in which God speaks, that you do not realize that you are lost in a world of make-believe, where anything you say can and will be used against you. They will twist your words and change your definition. A cruel reminder that reality is relative. There are smokes and screens to direct the narrative, a flood of entertainment to distract the attention. You can be placed on a pedestal, but if you don't dance to their tune, you'll become the antagonist. They will quote you out of context to defame your character, that even those who once had faith will begin to question it, and your words in defense will add fuel to the fire. And you will find preference in basking in the judgment. And you will finally understand just why you have the right to remain silent. I'm going to do one last poem. I didn't mean silent for real, guys. I'm going to read this one. Okay, so I'm going to need your help with, I'm testing this out. I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my show. If I say agwande, you repeat agwande to me twice. If I say agukanye, you repeat agukanye back to me twice. Any nguni word that I offer to you, please throw it back to me twice. All right? So let's test it out. Agwande. 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 That's too fast. Agwande. Agwande. Don't rush through it. Agwande. Agwande. Agukanye. Conviction, babies. Conviction. All right? Akwande. Akukhanye. Akukhule. Akuqole. Thank you. Now, this is a prayer over you. In my people's quest to find true freedom, I pray that we unmask ourselves to everything that allows us to love. May we find fluency in each other's affinity, accepting that which makes us different is irrelevant, for our contrasts are only somatic. I hope we find ease in every meeting and realize that every greeting affirms the magic it is to exist in conjunction, with that lifting the veil of deceptions that we hide behind, expressing our desires and reservations honestly, without the need to look over our shoulders subsequently, and seeing once again that we are capable of accordance and harmony. A unity would form from regarding each other's significance, nurtured by the sanctity that lives and breathes within us. Concern for our kinfolk would yet again be our philosophy, and no effort would ever have to be enforced to foster care for those in destitute. Our spirits would assemble in salutations of our divinity. Every stone established a prayer of abundance. Every word exchanged a prayer of light. Every feet pursued a prayer of progress. Every difference settled a prayer of peace. Every seed planted a prayer of life. Every hand offered a prayer of healing. Akwande. Akukhanye. Akukhule. Akuqole. Akuphile. Akuphole. My name is Noxolo Desire, and thank you so much for giving me your attention and your time. And you have been amazing. I'll be amongst the people.